Díogweave Golair Accordia August Táfáil to wrote, welcome to be my guest with me, Mary Honan, on Lear Media TV, supporting the Samaritans, Limerick and Tipperary, Clare's Wish Foundation in County Limerick, and actually it's the entire county, the entire city. And I'll have to start that again. On my brain went fuzzy.
Yeah.
And Deal Animal Welfare. Díogweave Golair Accordia August Táfáil to wrote, welcome to be my guest with me, Mary Honan, on Lear Media TV, supporting the Samaritans, Limerick and Tipperary, Clare's Wish Foundation, Limerick, and Deal Animal Rescue in West Limerick. And my lovely guest today is Laura Lundy, all the way from Tipperary in Sligo.
That's
Hi.
it, yeah. Hi, Mary, how are you?
I should say. TCRG, you're an Irish dancing teacher.
Yeah, that's it. Irish dance teacher, and I dance myself in like a contemporary Irish dance form of late. So yeah, get a mix of it all.
Yeah, you're involved in the World Irish Dance Academy out in the university.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
ethnology and ethnomusicology course out there. You got
yeah,
involved in that.
yeah.
How did you find that, Laura?
It was great. So I did the Bachelor of Arts in Irish Music and Dance there. Straight after my Leaving Cert, I went there for 4 years, and brilliant. Yeah, like I was one of them people in school who wasn't really sure ever what they wanted to do, you know. And when the time the CAO form came around, I was like, well, I like Irish dancing, and I know this course is good because some of my friends had done it.
Yeah.
So mom and dad, you know, they're great. They're so supportive with follow what you want to do, and that'll open doors.
Laura, you have a life ahead of you. Do you know, I still don't know what I want to do. That's any consolation. I think you go through your life, and I think as artists,
Yeah.
as people in the creative arts, I think it's very hard for people like us to actually say, I want to be this, and this is going to be my career for the rest of our lives. Because I think we're people who are interested in so many areas.
Yeah, that's it.
The arts encompasses so many areas. I mean, you did Irish dancing.
Yeah.
Now you're contemporary.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, you know, I always found it hard when, you know, like even when you go to the career guidance people in school and they're like, what do you want to be? And I'm like, I just, you know, I'm happy to dance. And if I can make something out of that and spread it through, like over in Holland with Sean Kilkenny, do you know?
You were saying camera, Sean Kilkenny.
Yeah.
I didn't know him, as I was saying to you before. I knew of him, but I had never spoken to him. And I felt after the interview, I felt I'd known Sean all my life.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I felt though as well, do you know, because it was after the 4 years in Limerick, Orlan Ivrian. Still after the 4 years, I was like, well, what do I want to do? Do you know, nothing had changed, only for the fact I was more definite that it was in that arts, music, dance, creative side. And Orla was great, and to this day, you know, Orla still will be in touch with all of the students that have graduated and, you know, advising them. And
that's so important.
Yeah, like I think that's one thing that stands out from like the Irish World Academy from other degrees. Like they're still there and they're still in touch with you and looking out for you after you graduate. So like brilliant. Yeah, but she got me in touch with Sean Kilkenny, and then over I went. It was 2016. Sure, I had only thought I was going over for like a week or two. 4 years later, there I was, but that's what happens. Like, I just fell in love with The Hague, the city, Sean, and like Irish dancing in mainland Europe. Do you know, like, it was a whole different world for me.
It must be exciting because you were there, if you like, at the embryonic stage of Irish dancing in Europe. Yes, it's going for maybe a few. Certainly over a decade.
Yeah.
And it's been going strong, but it's still relatively embryonic.
Yes.
So, and that's an exciting time to be part of anything. It's like being on the first Cormac O'Shea was saying, being on the first night of Riverdance, there's
Mm,
you can come in afterwards, but the first night it's like the opening night of a show.
yeah,
Every show after that is might be great, but it's not like the first night.
yeah, you're dead right. It feels different.
Feels
Yeah,
complete. Well, you get so used to it, you don't
that's
have
it. Yeah,
it becomes at some stages you're almost trying to pretend it's the first night and that you've never and that it's that freshness, but nothing compares, I don't think, like the butterflies and the excitement
yeah,
opening
yeah.
night.
It was amazing coming from like dancing in Connacht and doing all the competitions, worlds and whatever not, and then going to the academy and kind of going into the other side of it where you cross over from like competition into like how you can make it your profession, and then going to mainland Europe. Like I think like I was green, like I didn't know, to be honest, like that mainland Europe had such a big scene of Irish dancing competitively. Like amazing out there, like the work that they've done, the teachers of and the committee of RCCEA, like amazing work. And but like even since I went over in 2016 and I'm back in Sligo now, but like the standard of dancing has just, it's continued to go up and up. Like
I've never been to, I haven't judged yet in Europe,
yeah,
but but um I was just talking to Daria last night from
yeah,
Russia. And I was saying to Daria, when I saw her first when her dancers were coming out, and to look at them now, and the chasm that was between them from then until now has been just so much closed.
mm,
Unbelievable. I can't believe the the difference in dancers now from
yeah,
you know an organization really, and dancing schools that are really relatively infantile,
yeah,
and they've improved so much, they've come on so much.
so much. Like
I was saying to Daria, I wonder, is it the Russian mentality in her case, or
yeah,
and the Eastern European and things
that's
like
it. Yeah, I think it is a bit of that.
they
Do you know, like
learn.
yeah, the Dutch people, they're very direct, and they're very like, we want that, so we'll get that, and that mentality. Do you know, like even some of the parents, they're Irish, Dutch, whatever. It's this culture, it's the surrounding that they're growing up in, like. And like I know, like Sean's obviously he's from Galway, like obviously, and I'm Sligo, so the two of us worked so well together. Like we really gelled with our style, and then to have that like real Irishness to teach the Dutch kids, it was lovely, like really nice.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just we have a Dutch guy with us here in the station, Dirk de Klein.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's pretty direct,
yeah, yeah.
just like straight out.
It
No,
took me a while to get used to it now at the beginning. I must say there was no
no
plot
filter,
or anything. It was very like yes or
just
no.
yeah, no filter whatsoever.
No,
Just
no.
out what you want to say. We're kind of having this here in Ireland. I think to a large extent we have this inner dialogue that goes on.
Yeah.
I say this, shouldn't I say this? And by the time you decide to say it,
Yeah.
the moment's gone.
Yeah.
Certainly with me anyway.
Oh
And you,
yeah, dead right, yeah. Sure, it's the same thing, like Irish people just can't take compliments or anything, Like it's gas the way we are, but
I suppose it's yeah the most clearest the most clear definition of that is when someone says, "Oh, your outfit is lovely." I've often said to people, "Oh, your outfit is lovely," and they'll tell you the price.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that only cost me, and I'm not asking them how much it cost. I'm just admiring their
Yeah.
outfit. That's
So funny.
This is beautiful. Thank you. I got that for 65.99 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like they're apologizing for.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Justifying, like the compliment or something.
Yeah. We're just no good in this country at taking compliments. But
Yeah.
how did you start off in this busy, confusing, and fabulous world of Irish dancing?
Oh God.
Who
So
did
I
you go?
have, huh?
Who did you go to dancing? Did you go
Well,
to?
I started dancing Tipperary. So I have three older sisters. So there's four girls in the house. Poor dad, and then mom as well. He's surrounded by women.
Women.
Yeah. But anyways, so I started when I'd say I was just 4, and all of my sisters were going into the local hall in town, and we started dancing there with Julie Smith. Do you know her, Coleman School? Yeah. So we started there, and then I'd say I must have been around 7 or 8 then, and I moved down to Sylvan Kelly in Ballinass. It's only about 25 minutes up the road, so it's grand. And then it was with Sylvan. She had us well drilled. So my three older sisters kind of dwindled out for them, and I was kind of taking it serious. And then Sylvan, I stayed with her up until I was about 18, and then off to college to do the Irish music and dance course.
Yeah. And it was a big opportunity, and I suppose to leave Sligo, you know, and because you get institutionalized in your area.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm never going to leave Sligo, and then
Yeah.
that big, which is a journey for somebody that's only 18 years of age, you know, to leave their home, and the comforts of their parents and their dinner on their table.
Yeah. So true.
I never had to do it. I think my parents had to die to get rid of me.
Yeah. Oh God, Bob. Yeah. No, it was. It's daunting, like heading off to college. It's so different, and it's such an unknown. Do you know, you're mollycoddled a bit at home, and you're thrown then into the real world. But sure, like I was saying, like the academy was brilliant though. Like if there was any place to go where it was like home, it's there. All the tutors and Orla and Niall and all the other ones, they're so good, like.
Yeah, but she's very Mother Earth.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe her, Mother kind of Earth. She's even with people who are probably older than her, or that she has that kind of motherly instinct.
Yeah.
A caring instinct about her. I know when I was doing my PhD, and it was in a completely different area. It was in literature, but I remember going and meeting Orla one day twice actually for coffee, just to have somebody to talk to, because it's so isolating, and just to have somebody who was after going through it themselves, the process, even though we were different in our research areas, just to have somebody that knew the stress of it. And she was just so lovely. I'll never forget her for that.
Yeah, she's so good. Like she's just looking out for everybody on the course. Like when you finish the course, everything. Like sure, I'm done the course for 5-ish years, and she's only texting me there yesterday, like, which is great. You know, she's just always thinking about people.
She's desperately hard to get on the phone though, because anytime you ring her, you get the Irish answering machine, and you think, I know what you're saying, but I'm going to attempt to answer.
Yeah.
So the way to get her is on an email. But you headed off then to The Hague.
Yeah.
That I'd say the break from home, the initial at 18 going to college helped you, I suppose, to say to yourself, well, The Hague it's only another country, it's only a flight away, and I'm around Irish dancing all the time, so I still feel I'm at home.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, the edge was taken off it after being in Limerick for 4 years, and like I had never met Sean. I hadn't, like, there was nobody on the other side that I knew over in Holland. So just getting on the plane, you know, it is scary, of course, going into a new country. Language is different. Had never been in the Netherlands before.
Been to the Netherlands.
Yeah, but like, as you're saying, you know, it is only like 40-minute flight, and I knew I could always come home if it didn't work out. So I was just like, do you know what, I'll just give it a go and see. And you know, Sean was there to meet me off the side at the airport, and just went down for a pint together and started chatting. Like it was that easy going, you know.
Reality has just struck me, Laura, that you were quicker going and coming from the Netherlands than you would to go to Dublin.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Geez, it's a hassle getting from Sligo to anywhere. The public transport, like if you just get a bus, or whatever,
It's
you'd be
2
all
hours.
day.
It's 2.5 hours from Limerick to Dublin.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours from here to Dublin. Yeah.
And
No,
you're and 40 minutes over.
I know. Imagine. But yeah, it's awful close. But landed over there anyways, and I was straight in the next day. I was at a dancing class teaching with Sean. It was really just casual, but like straight into the deep end. And that was it then. I started up doing classes with him, started with the beginners, helping with that. And then obviously over the 4 years, then I'm now doing like the choreography for the school and doing the kind of training the advanced ones, like the open dancers.
Yeah.
And they're all brilliant. Like, there's our senior girl there, Esther Vanderberg. She was top 15 there in the worlds and everything, senior lady. So it's just the standard and how quickly it grows over there. It's the work mentality, like it's amazing.
Well, can I just say that a lot of it can't be overlooked that a lot of it is because of collaboration. And because people are willing to collaborate with one another and willing to say, Sean is willing to say, look, you come over here and teach with me, and you're willing to go over there and teach.
Yeah, true.
And you kind of look at the, it's been a subject I was looking at because of a question that Niall O'Leary posed on Facebook one day about the association rule. And you're saying to yourself, now that we're all kind of, I suppose, communicating more with each other, even with people from Kogol and CRN and WIDA and all these through my shows, say, that I've been doing, you're getting to know people in a way that you didn't prior to COVID.
So true.
And you see people, this person doing a traditional hornpipe or a hornpipe, or doing a set, and that person doing a set. Nobody is precious about their choreography, like and you're wondering how important. I think it's very important that we learn from each other.
Yeah.
Because teachers, you need somebody else to take a look at your class and say, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Or tell your class, you need to do this, because they're sick of their teacher telling them. But when somebody else comes into the class, that you're not afraid that that person is going to be affected by association.
Yeah.
I can understand why the Commission have the association rule, but I can also understand, like, you going to and becoming associated with Sean and getting involved in his class, the importance of collaboration.
Yeah, it's so true. I think with COVID, like, everything seemed to got stripped back to basics. I feel like, as you're saying, just everybody was just on a human level, like, struggling, and everyone was just helping. And even the dancing got stripped back to, people started going back and looking at the tradition of it, and questioning more, because they had more time to think, but like questioning the trad sets and trying to learn them. And the hornpipe challenge as well that CLRG did, like, was brilliant. Brings them all back to a more simpler level, which they need, like.
But it also teaches, I think it teaches people the importance of basics, good basics.
Yeah.
And it's like building a foundation. It's like building a monolithic structure. It's not going to stand properly if the foundation isn't right. Yeah. And you look at some fabulous champion dancers, and then when they do traditional sets, or they do traditional steps or hornpipe or traditional jig or whatever, you can see that they bypassed the beginners, and they were so good. Maybe the teachers said, look, we'll move you on to the advanced
too quickly nearly.
I do think you have to have that foundation.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's so important, like, in mainland Europe as well, for like Dutch kids to grow up and to know where where this style came from, and to see like Sean's take on something from the genre he grew up in to my take on it, and where like I think Irish dance can go. Do you know, it's so important for them to see and listen to all the different angles, especially being in a foreign country, so that for them they can then pass it on again to whoever, do you know.
And they're learning a culture that's not innate to them. It's acquired. It's an acquired culture. Whereas for us, it's something that's in our genes. I mean, my mother was Irish, my father was English, but still that Irishness is in the genes. And when you're trying to teach it to a child, the best who's not Irish, and who has no idea of our culture, I think the best way is through the traditional steps, the beginner's light jig, the beginner's hornpipe, that they're getting the good idea of the difference between a hornpipe rhythm. Many hornpipes masquerading or jigs masquerading as hornpipes. They're doing a hornpipe, but you know it's jig time rhythm.
Exactly. But it's, do you know, like even with the rhythm, like time signatures and that, like to bring the music into the dancing, I think is so important. Like that you're not just dancing to a tune, you're just putting on a hornpipe. Like to understand what the music is and what you're dancing, like not to, but like you're dancing alongside a tune. I think like you should respect your music.
Yes. We were talking about that again, Sean, or Cormac and myself, Cormac O'Shea, and I was saying about Tony Tyrrell, a friend of mine who had trained world champion Mandy Hannigan, got 4 words with him. But Tony used to always say he wanted to see set dances interpreted to the music. So it was retreat. He wanted to see some retreat in it. He wanted to see some progression, some retreating, some parts of the music or some parts of the dance that actually got slower, and some parts of it that speeded up.
There
was lots of light and shade.
You need that. You need it, I think.
We know this footwork and spins.
But like to get the balance between knowing your basics, like your basic trebles, your rhythm, the rhythm quality that you need to the music, like, you know, not to jam pack it with all the tricks in the book. You're missing out.
I mean, hornpipes are completely different than a jig. Jigs are completely different than a reel. But you don't often see that. You're there and you'll see exceptional children coming out and doing a most beautiful slip jig or a most beautiful hornpipe. I suppose you can only do what you're taught and the choreography that the teacher gives you. But you know, I like to see clear, defined hornpipes and slip jigs and reel jigs.
So like if you turned off the music, you could nearly tell exactly what it is like. Do you know? Yeah.
And I love hornpipes and slip jigs. You know, but so you started with Sean, and you got into the rhythm really quickly.
Thrown into the deep end.
Did you intentionally come back here during COVID?
Like I was saying, I had never really had a plan to stay there for as long as I did. Just worked, because I think it's the way I am. Like I don't really like to have anything definite lined up. I like to just go with the flow, fall into things, just the way I am. I don't know, it works for me.
Well, you're a person.
But so I came. I had always intended on coming back here summer of 2020, but then things just with COVID, I ended up coming home in like March or that, and delighted to be home, you know, because I already had that decision made anyways, to come home and do my own dancing here as such. Like I'm still teaching for Sean. I do Zoom classes nearly every day with the kids, and that's been going on a full year, imagine already.
Isn't the Zoom fantastic?
Oh, it is.
Yet there's times when it frustrates the hell out of you because you can't hear the person on the other side. You have to arrange a completely different day because their signal is
Yeah. There's a lot of that in it, but like it's so great. Do you know, I'm so grateful that I can still be in touch with the dancers and check in with them, give them the new steps, drill them. When they can't meet in a studio over there, you know, I love taking them online, like, and they've really got something out of it. Like, we were only talking the last day, myself and a few of the students, like, how has it been a year that we've been doing this online? It doesn't feel like it, but you know, you have to take the good out of the bad and appreciate it. And like, you know, we've still had an opportunity to dance online, and it's been great. You know,
Have you has the Netherlands opened up to any great extent? Because I know Portugal. I was listening to a reporter on the radio the other day berating Claire Byrne because of how Ireland, how strict it is here in Ireland. Because, as he said, we're open completely. And I was talking to a man from Hawaii yesterday. Hawaii is completely open, except for they're not allowing anyone in or out.
That's the right job.
But everything's open: restaurants, discos, nightclubs, bars, schools. Everything is open in Honolulu, and the same in, as I say, in Portugal and New Zealand. But they stopped everything at the airport. We're still letting people in.
I know.
Coming into Shannon and probably coming into Dublin and probably going to Sligo.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently, it's costing the government €400 for the taxi ride to bring people to stay in a hostel when they could actually go 100 yards down the road to their own house.
Oh God, Bob. Yeah, it's all wrong. Like, do you know, we're been stuck indoors and the whole island is open, so what can you do? Like Holland, I think, though, huh?
The whole island is open, and we're such a small island, we could contain open everything and not allow anyone in or out.
I know. It seems so simple, but Holland, they're still struggling as a country. The numbers are still really high. I was talking to Sean the last day, and like, they have a curfew at night time now. Everybody's to be indoors by 10 p.m. and same thing like as here. You know, they don't have any travel restrictions with the 5K or anything. But
if people were back at work and they had, like Portugal, I think they have to be in at 10 o'clock as well.
Yeah.
But people would be back in their jobs working.
Yeah, no, there's nothing like that. Sure, like, they were still holding classes out in the park for the kids for dancing, like, and sure, then the weather in Holland is so unpredictable. It's, you know, it's awful hard to.
A priest up in Cavan who's facing jail because he had mass outdoors.
Oh, that's awful wrong.
I mean, that's criminal, and you know, I mean, I don't understand it. A hairdresser can go to the doctor.
Yeah.
You can't go to the hairdresser.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't make sense. Like, it'd wreck your head if you thought about it too much at all. You'd drive yourself crazy, do you know? Like, no, I know, I appreciate that they're probably trying their best as a government, but it's.
No, I don't.
Like,
I'm completely on the other. No. If they were trying their best, they would have closed the with respect. And I take your point.
No, I know what you mean.
They would have closed all the ferries and closed all the airports, and they would have left. We're a small island out in the Atlantic. The Netherlands is surrounded by countries.
Yeah.
Understand, it's not as easy when you're living in mainland Europe.
Yeah.
Actually restrict people coming and going over borders. But my God, there's no reason why they couldn't do it here in this country and let everyone back to work and let everyone get on with their. We then become a bubble of Ireland.
Yeah, as an island, yeah. Just one giant bubble.
One giant bubble.
I know, like, it's hard to believe that, like.
Am I a simpleton or what? That I think this?
No, it probably is that simple. It's just
Why do
whatever.
people think it's so difficult, so complicated?
I don't know. If only I had all the answers. I don't know, but like it's so hard to believe that it's a full year that we're all stuck indoors and stuck with the same thing. Like God love people that are on their own, like elderly that are on their own at homes, or like vulnerable people, or it's
I
hard
mean,
enough as it is.
I'm asthmatic and I live on my own, and I spent 6 weeks in hospital not long ago now,
Yeah.
fainting and knocking myself unconscious, and I'm there and I'm saying to myself, if I was dead in the morning inside of the house, nobody would even know.
That's such a worry to have.
And
Yeah.
and they don't think it's all right saying to people, stay within your own family, stay within your own family. But if
But
you're a
yeah.
child, you don't have family.
What do you do? Like, you can't rely on the neighbours constantly. Like, or if you're out remote.
I see my neighbours are right beside me. We're semi-detached, but I wouldn't ask. I mean, I wouldn't impose on them for anything. And I mean, I could go in and out my house for a month without seeing my neighbour.
Yeah.
And
like,
but you were still working away with Sean.
yeah. So I'm still doing classes online.
How much has that improved or disimproved your dancers, do you think? Do you think that the ones that like to travel and like to move and use the stage more are constricted by the Zoom? And do you think that those that had bad feet or needed to work on their feet are advantaged by having a confined space that you can focus attention on the body, carriage, and forget about the movement, get that later on?
Yeah, it's interesting to see, like, the ones that would be running when they're dancing at the start, they were so frustrated, and there was, excuses like, well, we can't move, we can't do it. And I'm like, sure, back in the hall, myself and Sean, we'd put out a tiny little board, a little square, and up on the board, do your full dance. Because, if you can do your dance on a board with good feet, you can move, but not the other way around. So I was like, there should be no excuses. I think after they got into it and they realised that it was pretty much a long-term thing, semi-long-term, they realised, Jan, you can really see the improvements. You can really see the difference of just drilling things on the spot. Like even just travelling steps, like doing them on the spot, like, and working on technique rather than speed. Like, so because necessary.
When you're traveling, I think sometimes when you see children always going to the right as a judge, they're always going or that way, or they go into that corner. And you say to yourself, I haven't once seen them facing me.
Yeah, their feet, like.
And you're psychologically thinking, is there a reason why they haven't?
Oh yeah, naturally you would think that.
Because the dancers that actually face you constantly, or at least part of, usually have these facings.
So and it's not just all legs and like speed, That's not what it's all about, like.
I love movement. I love a dancer to use every inch of the stage.
Yeah.
But I be able to see that they're not using that stage because they're trying to avoid you seeing their.
Yeah, I know.
Turning in.
I know. Rather than working on it, don't avoid it by side traveling. But like even with the choreography as well, like, one side of my life is very much, I love like teaching Irish dance and I love the competitiveness. I love drilling things and there being a right and a wrong, like turned out feet and good technique. But then the other side, I love like the freedom of exploring where you can take it. So I'm always trying to encourage the kids, young and old, to like create their own stuff and like for fun, or it might develop into something nice for actual stage, but like create their own stuff and see where they can go with their own like their full body rather than just their legs, you know. So it's interesting to see, like, even doing that over Zoom in their own home, like, just challenges them.
It's a difficult dichotomy, though, because you're there and your Irish dancing is so regimented in many respects. The carriage has to be just perfect. The head has to be, not too high, not too low, just beautiful. Almost like you're teaching somebody how to walk in a model, or etiquette, where you put a book on somebody's head, and if the book falls off, then there is either too or too far back, and deportment, and that, and then suddenly you're asking them to break all of those and use your arms. And it's like teaching a ballet dancer Irish dancing, because the knees have to start going in. Dancing, or they have to soften with ballet, or they have to, there's so many techniques that you have to break, that, how do you find that when, especially when you're trying teaching children for competition, but you're also trying to teach them for stage? They're two different genres.
Yeah, very different. Like, children trying to use their arms, it's like they've never even seen it before, or like to release this.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do it. Like, they're holding their breath when they dance, and it's like, just on a basic, like, I ask them, like, why do you dance? Like, simple. We dance because bringing it all back to simplicity. We enjoy it. We enjoy movement. Dance is movement. So for them, fun exercises are getting them to use their body. Like, they really struggle. They don't know. And I'm not just talking about, classic hands on hips type of a thing, but to just, like, when you walk, when you take a step, your arms naturally move. You don't think about it.
And they move in opposite.
They move in opposite.
But your left arm goes out, and if
that's it. Yeah, but if you ask somebody, like, simple thing, walk on stage, but don't walk as if you're going to be judged. Just walk. They'll start going like right arm, right foot, and be really awkward, and they can't do it,
because it's innate to you to walk normally, and it's like somebody, you see people acting and they're learning, and suddenly they're rigid walking out. I taught drama as well, so you're there and they're walking, and they don't realize that something you so naturally, like walk, becomes the hardest thing that you do in the world. You have to think about it. What do I do? And then the right hand goes out with the left, and the right, and the left hand goes out with the left leg, instead of what normally happens, which is to balance your body. But I think as Irish, we're storytellers anyway. It is built into our genes to be storytellers one way or another, whether it's through literature, or whether it's through music, or whether it's through dance. And even in competition, you want to see that child come out that tells the story of the dance.
And that's what we always say to them. Do you know, it's not just, you're not just being judged. Like, you have to put on a show. Like, you're a character, and your character is your own personality, and that's what you need to give the judges and the audience. Like, they're just going to get bored sitting there looking at everybody walking out the same way. Like, I don't mean coming out real flamboyant or anything, but just to bring a bit of your own personality. I think it's so important, not for kids in competitive Irish dance, because there are so many rules and regulations, and like, to have the certain look. Like, it's so important for them to understand that they're not just a number, and that they have a personality, and they've likes and dislikes with what they do. And like, I'm always really conscious when I'm making up steps for the kids, that I'm not just throwing steps at them and I can see that they don't like it. I'm always like, how does it feel for you to dance? Like, think about it. What do you enjoy doing? Not what you're good at, but what feels nice.
It's almost like that Billy Elliot moment when she asks him aside in the interview, what does it feel like, Billy, to dance? And he has never been asked that question. Anybody before. What does it feel like? And after thinking for ages, he says, it feels like electricity. It feels like electricity. I just think that's for any one of us who danced and loved and it was our soul to dance. That's the feeling that it was. That someone said to me one day, why aren't you confident when you sing? And I said, like you were when you danced. And I said, because dancing to me was like breathing.
Yeah.
And when you're able to do something, it makes you better. But when you're constantly, if you feel that I'm not as good as such a person, when you do something else, you're less likely to do it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's so true. Your mind is probably going mad with inner thoughts,
Demons.
Yeah, demons. So true, yeah. But it's just so nice to see the kids, young and old, just figure out and go a bit deeper as to why they're doing competitive Irish dance, and what they want to get out of it. Because, competition, you can compete up until whatever age you want, but if you want to do it at a high level, there does come a time, where your body isn't able to do it the way you want it to.
Tragically.
Yeah, tragically. Yeah, I know.
Just about get through the 8 bars of a set, and then you have to take a break and a cup of tea. And you're
Well,
proud
that'd be lovely.
Getting through 8 bars of the set. But I spent 14 years in Bunratty Castle. So
yeah.
A principal dancer there. But I mean, you come out of competition and you go into shows. Now, in Bunratty, it was still the same competition dancing, in the sense that we didn't meet norms. It was very much what we were already doing. But when you went on things like Tops of the Town and that, you had to learn a completely different, and Sheem said that you had to learn a completely different way of moving your body. In fact, you had to learn to move your body.
Yeah, you have to learn it,
Which was, and I look at things like Strictly dancing and Dancing on Ice, and you see people on the Strictly boards saying things like, oh, but she danced before and she went to stage school and she did, so she should be able to do ballroom. It's like telling somebody who was a prima ballerina to go up and do a hornpipe.
Yeah, it's not that simple at all.
It's actually harder
to
habits than to actually learn from nothing.
Oh, definitely. I see it all the time with the kids, they have to be taught how to put their hands on their hips and how to put it on and how to take it off simply. So that's why I'm always telling them, think about it, go figure out the rest of your body, because there will come a day, hopefully some of them will want to do something with their dance and make a career out of it, or go on to teach or do shows or whatever. So I'm always start thinking now, because I didn't have that competing. It was just competing, which was totally fine because that was the space I was in. But going to the academy, then it was a different way of thinking, it was a different way of learning, and I think it's so important for them.
Will you go back to the Netherlands?
Oh, who knows? I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. There's such good opportunity here in Ireland for dance artists, or if you want to go the contemporary route. I'm heading off now for the month with Kristen Fontanella, her company. She's putting on a show and we're doing a month's rehearsals and then a show at the end of it. So that's only just one opportunity.
Where will you do that?
So we're doing 2 weeks in Tipperary and 2 weeks in Limerick, and then it'll be broadcasted online. It's like an interactive show that she's doing. So yeah, we're so lucky that it's under the broadcast thing that we can create a working pod or whatever. She's awful lucky, but like things like that, I think Ireland for now is definitely the place. I just think there's a lot more from like the Arts Council, and there's a lot more opportunity for traditional Irish dancers that are kind of dabbling in contemporary and moving into another side of it.
That's another thing I can't understand, with the government. I mean, when it comes to Irish dancing, there's no reason. When you look at most of the dancers that you have in your class, those children that you have in your class, whether it's 20 children or 40 children or whatever, are attending the same schools.
Yeah.
Primary schools, secondary schools as each other. There's no reason why, if they're able to go back to school, that they can't go back and stay within their pod.
Yeah.
Of the group of children, that if there's 10 children in your class that happen to go to the presentation convent, say for instance,
Yeah.
then that class stays together.
I know, it doesn't make sense.
That goes to maybe St. Mary's or whatever, and they stay together, that or that they all stay together within their pod, because they're going to be together anyway. They go to the same schools, especially in villages.
Yeah.
Children go to the same primary schools or secondary schools in a village. No rational reason why those children can't go back to their dance classes.
No, it doesn't make sense. Like, an Irish dance is such a solo, like, there's no touch, you don't need to be on top of anyone, and then football teams are probably training, passing a ball around. It doesn't make sense at all for dance to be
into rugby scrums. They're meeting, Irish team is playing against England, playing against France, playing against Italy, and that's okay.
I know, it doesn't make sense. Like,
children maintaining their own space on the floor can't attend class.
I know, it's awful. Like, and it's the kids that need the stimulation, like, for their own mental health. Like, it's
my PhD was on childhood under Nazism, and looked at the effects not just necessarily of children who were at the time, but the effect it had on them later in life.
Yeah.
And many of them were unable to have proper relationships with their own children because of having been locked up in hiding, or on their own, going from town to town, depending on strangers to them, pretending to be Catholic when they weren't Catholic, and having to hide their identities, and the effect it has later on in them.
Yeah.
And there's no difference with this. Children now between 0 and 4 who will probably never know what it's like to be able to, or who have only spent, there's children now between 0 and 4 who've spent a quarter of their lives in lockdown.
I know, isn't it mad? Like, they've never got to experience mingling.
And that's the most vulnerable ages, and the most printable ages. And for them now, at 5 and 6 and 7, to go to school.
Oh, terrifying.
But it stunts your emotional.
Yeah, your development,
And then that has, I mean, many of the survivors that I interviewed who were children in hiding and in lockdown under Nazism, at least they knew their enemy.
True, true.
We went out, it was a man in a uniform, or it could be their neighbor, it was their enemy. Your children now are being told it's an invisible enemy.
Yeah, true, yeah.
They go out and then they have children of their own, and they've lost their own childhood.
God, when you think about it like that, there's no. It's not a good job. This.
We're just. I just think sometimes people are just going to have to go out and start over.
I think so. There will be a moment, I think, though, where there's going to be retaliation, where people have just had enough. So like I don't think people are even at the minute like going by the rules that much. You know, like we live on a main road here, and the first lockdown it was so quiet, and it's like a normal day now, and like that in itself proves that people aren't like they're not.
I think if people want to wear masks and they feel that the mask actually protects them, that's great, fantastic. Go away and wear your mask, and you feel safe.
Yeah.
But people are now going back to what it was like during World War II, where you had neighbour being turned against neighbour, friend against friend. She's not wearing a mask. He's not wearing a mask. Name and shame him. When I hear that phrase, if he doesn't want to wear a mask, if you're wearing one and it's protecting you, great. But leave everybody live their lives. We've won this world. We're not going to get out of it alive.
I know, so true. Like, and it's that constant being told what to do and that constant under the thumb. Like, it's not human.
It's not Irish.
It's not Irish.
We're not, as a nation, we don't like being told what to do.
No. And I think you're right. Like, do it if you want to do it, and that's your choice. But don't come down the heavy on somebody who has other opinions. Like,
but I mean, you have no idea of what might be wrong with somebody that they just cannot wear something over their.
That's it. Like, and people will just judge then, and as you're saying, like name and shame crack.
We need. I think people need. I think classes. Just you know, I mean, I've heard people saying it. You know that classes or hairdress salons or businesses are just going to have to say, look, we're all going to open up on a debate, because otherwise, you know, people are just going to die from suicide, depression, loneliness, isolation.
Yeah.
And and classes, children will never go back to dancing.
No, I know, like so many of our ones they've stopped, like they can't keep going like this. Do you know, and it's like, I don't know. It'd make you angry, because like they're trying to, you know, which is more important. Like they're trying to keep people safe by keeping them indoors and stuff, but like, you know, mental health and suicide is such a bigger problem at the minute.
There's people out there who feel who are elderly people who've said, I don't want to be alive if this is going to. I'm going to spend the last few years of my life. Do you know? I mean, we've got to get a balance and say, look, go back to work, close the airports for a couple of months, and just let us bubble on an island.
Yeah. I know. And then, like, I think just as you're saying, like the kids, they're missing out on such important parts of their life. But even, you know, I was talking to a girl, one of my students, Mia, like she was 16 when I left, and now she's 18 getting ready to go to college. And it's like, that's such a big transition from like you're a child really into adulthood. And it's like she hasn't met her friends. Do you know, like it's such a big part of your identity that's been taken.
Irish dancing or social activities are their lifeline.
Yeah.
Because they keep them mentally focused, and and while they're dancing, they can't think about being depressed or being stressed or failing exams or anything, because for the length of time they're in the dancing class, that's all whipped from them.
Yeah, but you're dead right. And like, even, you know, children who have difficult family situations, it might be their only hour out of their week that they can switch off and be in a safe space. Like that's all. It's just, you know, when you know backstories of some kids, or you know how much dancing means to them on a whole different level, it's like they're the ones that you really have to watch out for. Like, it's not right.
The government doesn't see that. They see dance as being something that the children can do without dance. It's just a hobby.
No, it's their lives. Like,
it's a lifeline to many children, to many teachers, to many parents. It's a lifeline to put their child in for 2 hours or an hour while they go shopping. Or while they get a break from their child. nothing like that is taken into account, the mental anguish of being deprived of normality.
Yeah, and I think, like children or teenagers, adults that are in competitive Irish dance, by nature, they're hard workers and they want to go to their classes and they want to feel like they've done good work.
Disciplined.
Like, yes, disciplined. Like, that's all gone. Like, they're not getting chance to express that side of them as well. Like,
No, and then you go into college, and I think Irish dancers and children who've been in any form of disciplined activity, they bring that discipline into their college and into work. And if that has been deprived of them, they have no ability to critically think or to say, yes, the teacher is telling me I've made a mistake there because she actually thinks I'm good or I can do better.
yeah.
That they've learned in their dancing classes, the teacher's saying, do it again, do it again.
Yeah, like it's so much more than just doing another jig again. Like it's so much more.
It's being able to take criticism, take loss, take failure, take hard work.
Yeah.
That you all aspects of your life. And they talk about elite sports. The elite sports can go back. These dancers are the teachers.
Yeah.
They're the future lawyers, the future doctors, the future business people who carry all that discipline that they've been taught into their lives. And the government just don't see the light bulb flashing.
No, but I think as well, like I think dance or like arts or anything in the creative world, which is the one thing that people depend on when they're stuck in at home, is to turn on the telly or to listen to music or to take a dance class. Like, I don't think the government prioritise that as being something that's a necessity. Like,
no, but a wine shop can open.
Oh God, I know.
Or an off license is an essential business, and a wine shop is an essential business.
I know. Like, where did that come from? When did that become priority over children needing,
getting back to a healthy activity that keeps them physically and mentally strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we've kind of tried to solve the problems of the world.
We've it all done now for them.
I think I'll send this to Leo.
Yeah.
Realize that we've solved it all.
Yeah, within an hour, there you go. It's all done.
Leo, we've done it. You don't stress your little head now. We've all the problems.
But wouldn't you love to though?
Yeah. But Laura, it was just lovely talking to you.
Yeah, it was great, Mary. Thanks a million now for having me on.
We get to see each other once.
Hopefully, yeah. I know God only knows when that day will come where we're all back to normal, but
I think it'll happen sooner than later, because I think people have had enough.
Yeah. Hopefully too.
You can only keep moving the goalposts so often.
Yeah.
Say, I don't believe you. And
yeah, I know. Maybe if everyone just rallied together and all, revolt and open up.
Looking for a revolt.
Yeah, that's the right job then. Then we'd be free of it.
The fighting Irish.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, thank you.
Thanks a million, Mary. That's great. Thanks for having me on for the chat.
You're welcome. Shindera Leshan Clor, that's the end of the show for today. Until the next time, the Kuna Day. Bwalam Tugalir, Chicona, Sonus, August Gra, August Gadeshif Slán. Gadeshif Slán, Laura.
Slán go fóill.
Slán go fóill.